This is Trent Grzegorczyk, the retirement planning coach. Welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison of NewRetirement and Personal Capital, which is now Empower. I did a video like this maybe a year or so ago, and I'm going to have a refresh because the platforms have changed a little bit. So I think it's important to cover the pros and cons of each and give you a side-by-side comparison of the look and feel, the use cases for each platform. And so hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have a better understanding of what to use each platform for and how you can maybe use both of them in tandem to build a better retirement plan. If you're new to this channel, again, my name is Trent Grzegorczyk. I'm also known as the Retirement Planning Coach, and I help individuals over 50, specifically self-directed investors and DIY investors who want help from an advisor, but they want to be involved and have a collaborative experience with their retirement planning. And so I help a lot of those people, and specifically within the Retirement Planning Club, which is a community of over 300 people who are self-directed investors, DIY investors, and pre-retirees over 50 who are looking to take a better control of their retirement planning, and having the support of a community and also having some experts within the community. So if you want to join a community that's free, go to secureyourretirementnow.com and you can check out the resources of the Retirement Planning Club, which I will give you a sneak peek preview of here. This is the club. There's a forum, there's a free course in the classroom, and other things. So you can go there if you want to be part of a community where you can post questions and have conversations with people who are literally in the exact situation as you are. Okay, so without further ado, NewRetirement first. NewRetirement is a planning-focused platform. They are really going deep into the tax planning, withdrawal planning, retirement timing, Social Security optimization. Everything is very detailed from a planning cash flow perspective. Shifting quickly over to Personal Capital or Empower, it is a little bit more of a wealth dashboard and a tracking platform as opposed to a sophisticated, detailed cash flow planning platform. The way that I like to think of both platforms is at that level, planning and then tracking. So, and then this is like my opinion as a financial advisor. I've helped hundreds of people on both of these platforms, use both of these platforms and build retirement plans on both of these platforms. Also, I have experience building financial plans for my private clients as well. So this is me coming from a position of I've built a heck of a lot of retirement plans and financial plans in the last 10 years since I've been a financial advisor for people who are over 50. And then also on the more recent level of helping DIY investors and self-directed investors using these two platforms. So I have kind of a unique perspective when I give a review of these platforms. So planning is NewRetirement, tracking and analytics is Empower or Personal Capital. All right. Okay, so let's talk through what you can do on both platforms and what you can't do on both platforms, and then that'll give you a better idea of maybe which to use or how to use each. So like I mentioned, NewRetirement is very planning focused. What you can do within NewRetirement is you can determine your required rate of return that you need for your portfolio. So you can easily update your rate of return that you are expecting in your accounts. So for instance, if you have been growth focused, now you're looking to retire, what happens if I was more conservative? Would I be able to sustain my lifestyle if I was planning for lower rate of return? You cannot do that within Personal Capital. So this is one pro in a really good feature of NewRetirement is you can tinker around with your rate of return assumptions. Okay, what you can do, let's jump over to the Personal Capital or Empower. What you can do in the Personal Capital Empower platform is you can track your net worth and portfolio value over time. You cannot do that within NewRetirement. So one use case for using Personal Capital Empower is that you have a dashboard where you can track your asset growth or your spending and portfolio balance and performance over time. You cannot do that. There isn't a historical tracking feature within NewRetirement. It's all forward looking. So if tracking your net worth and portfolio value and asset allocation and performance is important to you, which I think it is, then you need to be using Empower Personal Capital for that use case. Okay, let's jump back to NewRetirement. NewRetirement, like I mentioned, is very planning focused, and Roth conversion planning is one of the hottest topics that I help my clients with, my self-directed investors with. And you can easily build a Roth conversion strategy within NewRetirement. You cannot do that within Personal Capital. There isn't even a workaround in Personal Capital or Empower. You literally can do that within about 20 seconds. So I'll show you, go to the Roth Conversion Explorer. We'll optimize for highest estate value within the 22% tax bracket. We're going to pay for the conversion tax out of pocket, but we never want to deplete our after-tax accounts lower than 100K. Here's your conversion schedule that you can then use as a starting point to actually executing some conversions. Now, I literally did that in about 10 seconds. One of the biggest use cases of NewRetirement is for the Roth conversion planning features. And the recent upgrade, which is the experience that I just walked you through, of choosing to optimize for different factors and staying within certain tax brackets, is a huge value proposition on their end. Just going back to the Roth conversion options here, they're going to have a lowest lifetime tax liability option soon, but in the meantime, you can optimize for highest estate value, you can optimize for highest estate value within a tax bracket, and eventually lowest lifetime tax liability. You cannot do that within Empower. You can't even, like I mentioned, there's not even a workaround for doing that with Empower. Empower Personal Capital is very light when it comes to planning. The planning features within Personal Capital Empower, I'll show you briefly, pretty light. You can run different scenarios, you can tinker with the inputs, you can change your retirement date, you can change your retirement spending, you can change your assets, your Social Security, your pension. You can look at a very high level cash flow chart, which in my opinion is not good. You can run a bear market stress test. So for instance, if you look at the Monte Carlo chart here, and then you run a recession simulation, you can see how that impacts your portfolio value over time. That's pretty useful. I would say that this is inaccurate sometimes because sometimes it shows better outcomes with a bear market, which is really weird. But you cannot do that within NewRetirement. You cannot run a stress test, such as a bear market simulation, just like the financial crisis or the dot-com bubble. You can't do that within NewRetirement. You can do that within Personal Capital. All right. Okay, let's jump back to NewRetirement and some pros of NewRetirement. The reporting is very powerful. So the reporting, there's an area within NewRetirement where you can actually go into some different, it's underneath the insights area. You can see your projected net worth. You can see the income and expense overview, drawdowns, savings balances, and how that changes over time. You can see your estimated tax projections year over year. So obviously this is, if just quickly looking at this is Roth conversion area right here. Savings timeline, there's a bunch, surplus gap, there's a bunch of different charts and reporting features within NewRetirement where you can dive into the year over year. And then this is how you come up with the game plan of, here's the Roth conversion strategy, here's how I'm going to distribute from my accounts, where I'm going to pull from. And they do a really good job of showing you how to plan your cash flow on a year-to-year basis. It's not perfect. meaning it's obviously this is all hypothetical, assuming certain growth rates. But all you can do is just review this on an annual basis and see if it still makes sense for your situation to distribute from these accounts, right? So it shows you a distribution schedule. So there's no, obviously, like if you're doing any financial planning, this is all very hypothetical stuff, but it's better than nothing. And Personal Capital does not provide any sort of reporting features outside of their area here. I'm like zoomed in here. There we go. That's better. So Personal Capital Empower does not provide a very robust or any sort of reporting features outside of what you see here and then the cash flow chart here. So it's very, very light. Jumping back over to Empower Personal Capital, one feature I really like about the platform, like I mentioned, is you can track your net worth, you can track your portfolio value, but you can also track your performance of your accounts. So you can benchmark against the US stock index, foreign stock index, and whatnot. So it's very robust when it comes to performance tracking over time. You can also dive into your asset allocation of stock to bond, and you can monitor and understand if you need to rebalance your portfolio. You cannot do that with NewRetirement. Not yet, anyway. I've heard some rumors that they might be adding some features through the grapevine of maybe understanding what your asset allocation is and maybe tracking values over time. But at the moment and at the time of this recording, you cannot view your asset allocation or historical performance or value change of your accounts within the NewRetirement dashboard. You can do that within Personal Capital. Tax planning, very robust within NewRetirement, actually beats a lot of advisor grade platforms, in my opinion. I've used many advisor grade platforms, financial advisor grade platforms that are only available to professionals. And so when it comes to the tax planning and reporting within NewRetirement, they are next level when it comes to consumer facing capabilities and features. It is very robust, and it gives you a lot of data that this like the Personal Capital Empower platform just doesn't have any tax planning features whatsoever. Not even a light version. Okay, so now let's go into, so we covered Roth conversions, we covered tax planning, we covered reporting, we covered performance and value change and net worth increase over time and how each platform can cater to those needs. Let's talk about a little bit higher level of like the motives for both companies. So I think that's somewhat important to just understand anyway, in the structure of both companies. So let's start with NewRetirement. So NewRetirement they don't manage money. They have financial advice offerings. They have coaching offerings. They have courses. They have office hours if you're a premium subscriber to their Planner Plus, which is a paid version of NewRetirement. All right. And so that is one thing to kind of understand is you can start for free with NewRetirement, and then you can graduate to the Planner Plus version. And if you want some coaching or want to visit their office hours, you can do that and ask questions. They have a chat program, which is actually very, like the people that answer the chat are very knowledgeable. So you can contact their support team and ask any questions that you might have. And then if you want advisory services, they have that too. And it's like flat fee based. So it's pretty, it can be cost efficient, depending on your situation. So there's multiple layers of getting help, all built from the same foundation and software program, which is really useful, right? And how they have different offerings for different types of people, no matter what stage of life you're at, they can kind of accommodate. The Personal Capital end, this is a free platform. It's very light. but it does have some powerful like tracking and performance reporting and asset allocation features that, like I mentioned, those aren't there within NewRetirement. They drive people to their portfolio management services and financial advisor services that are the more traditional assets under management level. Okay, so Empower, which is now they acquired Personal Capital within the last year or so, and they provide asset management services in the typical fee schedule, call it the 1% and below range to manage your portfolio and whatnot. So I think it's important to understand when you use these platforms, there are funnels to be sold, different things in the future, right? Well, I mean, you can't really blame them. They're offering some very, very nice software on the front end. Both can start out at free, and then you can. What I like more about the NewRetirement model is that you can tier up in a very incremental way from getting help. And the Personal Capital, if you want your advisor to be directly integrated in the platform, it's either assets under management or nothing. There really isn't like coaching courses and other things kind of to get you to that point. It's like, hey, we're going to manage $1 million, or you're not going to have a relationship with us, and we're not going to be your advisor, essentially. They do have more of a portfolio management service where you can invest in their portfolios, but you don't get like a private advisor. You just kind of invest in their portfolios. But I thought I think it's useful to understand the motives for each company. I would say Empower is trying to upsell you more, right, than NewRetirement, because it's free software. NewRetirement is the best features are in their premium service, and as long as you're within that ecosystem, like, they're content. They're not going to try and upsell you too much to like get coaching and financial advice and whatnot. So like overall, NewRetirement, planning, Personal Capital, tracking, your wealth dashboard, you can use both in tandem with each other if you want to have the use cases of, I want a really robust planning platform where I'm going to spend probably 80% of my financial planning time, and then maybe 10 to 20% of my financial planning time and monitoring time, I'm going to spend it within Empower or Personal Capital, because it provides different features and both of them together. And I've created a course around how to actually like build a retirement plan using both platforms. Using both in tandem with each other make a lot of sense. So it's not an all or nothing sort of a thing. Both have different features and capabilities that each of them lack, and so using them together makes a lot of sense. So I hope this was helpful in your journey of trying to figure out the tools to use as a self-directed investor and a DIY investor, and as you approach retirement, what tools you should arm yourself with. You should be thinking about NewRetirement. You should be thinking about Personal Capital. In my personal opinion, it's more of like an 80-20 split. 80% of your time with your financial planning will probably be spent in a platform like NewRetirement. 20% or less will be spent in the Personal Capital Empower side. If you want more in-depth help and support, just go to secureyourretirementnow.com. There's several options for you to choose from. You can join the Retirement Planning Club, which is a free community. There's hundreds of people in that club. You can get flat fee financial advice personally from me. You can register for NewRetirement, and you can be within my white labeled site, which is what you see here with my branding and my image. I've licensed their software to use with my clients, and again, I can't do that with Personal Capital. They don't provide outside advisors with their advisor-driven software. NewRetirement is creeping into that space, which is really nice. So if you go to secureyourretirementnow.com, you can select from a few options if you want more support and assistance, not just from using the software tools and whatnot, but actually building a quality retirement plan and financial plan. If you're looking for some guidance, I can personally help you. If you're looking for general support, you should join the Retirement Planning Club and get the support from your peers and like-minded people. Give this video a like if it's added some value. Comment below on your favorite or what you like about each platform. Again, go to secureretirementnow.com if you want additional support at any level. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video.